Hello, it is Diane with Diane's Blue Hearts and Butterflies.com, and I wanted to share another calendar project. Nobody signed up for this one in my class, but I really thought it was pretty. It actually creates a tower that you can stand up and have all of your calendars so that you can stand up on a desk or something. And I'm using a lot of retired products that I have and stamp sets and things. And I wanted to go through, I do have over on my blog at Diane's Blue Hearts and Butterflies.com the dimensions. This idea I saw from a couple of different places, Kelly Atchison, A Stamp Above, and then Debbie Henderson. She's the one that I got the idea for reinforcing it from. So I kind of mishmashed these together. It does work best if you can have some little prepared calendar pages, but you can also find them online and just resize them to fit the project you want. Mine, I tried to size them about 3 inches by 2 3/8, and then I sized my calendar mats just a little bit larger. So let me go through the supplies that I used, and then I'll just kind of run through a little bit of how I put it together. And again, the dimensions are over on my blog, and you can use anything else to kind of put it together. But it does take two 8.5 by 11 pieces of cardstock, and I use the same color for the tower, and you score it in portrait at 4 inches and 8 inches, and you'll do 2 of those. And then you're going to have the designer series paper for creating the look behind your pieces. And you can use all the same. You can use different ones. You can alternate. Since I was using up the paper that I already had, I kind of had to go with what I could fit. But these are 10 3/4 by 3 1/2, and you'll need 4 pieces to create those. And then the mats for the calendar pages, again, like I said, whatever the size of your calendar pages, that's what you'll make your mats for. So these mats are measuring 3 1/4 by 2 1/2, and I needed 12 of those for these calendar pages. And then the Debbie Henderson had given an idea of creating so that it makes it sturdier on the inside. She took and used it's the cardstock that comes on the back of the 12 by 12s that has information about the pack and everything, and cut those at 3 inches by 10 1/2 inches, and you'll need 4 of those. And then just to cover them up so that they're not seen on the inside, just use another coordinating cardstock cut at 3 3/4 by 10 3/4, and that will cover that up. You're going to want to put those on before you put this together. So I'm going to fold this over just to make so that it makes it a little bit easier to see where those come together on those score lines. And then I'll share another tip that Debbie had shared about putting this together. All right. So on the back side is where you're going to glue down these insert with your designer series paper, and you'll put those kind of in the middle of this on the back side. I just ran out of glue in that one, so let me open another one. And then do that to all 4 pieces or sections. And I'm not gluing it a whole lot because I'm going to be putting another piece over the top. So it's not quite as imperative. Put this here, and then take this other coordinating cardstock, and you can use the stash that you have. You can buy new stuff. There's all kinds of wonderful things that you could use to create these. And then again, just creating your little bit of a border right here. Do that on all 4 pieces. And then you can decorate this, you can stamp it, you can use the dies and die cuts, and you could make this for anything really. If you wanted to use it to mark maybe birthdays on a calendar, and just so it reminds you of the dates, and then you can look in and find whose birthday it is. You'll just kind of see at a glance if there's an event on that day. I took and cut some flowers from the paper, and then on this one I just kind of fussy cut around, and then I used a bunch of my die cuts. This one was from Unbounded Love that I got a bunch of these die cuts from, and then some of the labels I got from Tasteful Labels. And then you could also use some of your textured notes dies, or anything that you really have that you can decorate that up with. So now that we've got that done, and since this is going to be kind of standing up on a desk, I am going to use tear and tape, and I'm going to glue this to the inside because I don't want it to be showing on the front. So I'm going to actually glue it so that it goes down on the inside. So I'm going to fold that little flap over and add the tear and tape there. And I'll do the same thing on the other one. Oh, sticking to my finger. Okay, and then you want to burnish that so that it kind of gets stuck. Now when you're going to put this together, the tip that Debbie had shared, trying to grab my scoreboard, was to use the scoreboard to help line your pieces up. So when you're laying it down, you'll put this here, and then when you go to put your piece here on, you can line it up with that edge in the corner, and it lines it up. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this backing off using my Take Your Pick tool. Get that out of the way. And fold that piece over. And I've got this lined up in the corner on both the bottom and this piece. And then when you lay it down, it just lines it up together. And then you can take and turn that around, and you'll remove the backing again on your tear and tape. Oh, I had a piece of cardstock from a previous project. Oh, it's not going to show. So bend that, fold that in, and then you can just lay this down and press that, and it all lines up perfectly to create that. So I thought that was a great tip. I wanted to share that with you. And then you take your Designer Series paper and you'll add that to your calendar tower. I think that's kind of what Kelly had called it. And I'm gonna kind of put these on, just creating kind of an even border, but I'm going to alternate and put them kind of alternating here. so it's not the same next to each other. And then I'm just kind of making sure that it's lined up the way that I want it, because if it's a directional paper and you've got one going one direction and one going the other direction and you don't like it, it's not going to be appealing to you and it's going to bother you. So just so you'll remember, this is an old designer series paper. I don't even know what it's called. I had a bunch of it left, so I was just trying to use these up on some of my projects, because I get made fun of a lot from all the paper that I have that I don't ever quite get used up. So I'm trying to use some of these scraps, but there are some wonderful papers that are out that you can check out on Stampin' Up's website. There are several promotions going on right now, but I'm not sure when you're watching it of what that's going to be. So on this, I would work from the bottom, kind of creating your even spacing, but you're going to want to figure out how you're going to want to decorate it too. So you may just start by putting your calendar pages on your mats and then kind of laying it out and cutting all of your other labels and die cuts and whatever you want to decorate this, and then add stamps and everything to that. So I'll just kind of show you a little bit. I had this A Day to Remember from another stamp set. These are those flowers, and then I used a kind of a die cut behind it. These are some die cut leaves and some flowers. And then this is another label, and then another kind of label, and then I stamped on that with a picture stamp, and then some words, and then I also have like a little label behind it. You could use ribbon, you could use just about anything to decorate that up. I hope that you enjoyed this project and that you will check out my blog for the other projects that I was working on and doing this month. And if you like the videos and you want to see more projects that I do, you can subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon, and then it will notify you when I upload new videos. You can check out my blog for other projects that I've done throughout the years, and I appreciate you spending your time with me. If there's any products that you'd like to purchase that are available, you can definitely shop with me if you don't have a demonstrator already. And I appreciate you spending some time with me this evening. Thank you.